Center Zach Frazier had an absolute elite game against the Chargers when it comes to his run blocking specifically. And today we're going to talk about what he showed on tape. We'll get into his pass pro as well. I think he did a really good job. But there's just so much upside with Frazier. To me, this is definitely one of the top 2 or 3 centers in the NFL. And I know it's so early still, but I'd already put him there. Honestly, because I've watched enough centers in the NFL that majority of them can't do what this guy's already showing us. So many guys struggle with little things like reach blocking or being able to pass guys off, double teaming and climbing. And this guy does not struggle with that, and he's physical as hell. You see plays like this where he's tossing people, where he's getting at the point of attack physical with the guy, and he's turning, he's torquing. Tell me how many rookies do this right here in their 3rd ever NFL game. You get a double team where you're pushing out the nose. He's going to climb up to the 2nd level, make contact with the linebacker, and then look at him turn this linebacker and put him into the ground. I love that mindset. And this is kind of what this guy does when it comes to his run blocking. He's physical, he's tough, he's mean, he's aggressive. But then at the same time, from a technical standpoint, he does a really good job. At the same time, from a leverage standpoint, right? You really see that wrestling background that Zach Frazier has on plays like this. And you get a double team here at the point of attack. Great job between Frazier as well as Daniels. They're going to end up getting underneath this defensive lineman, and they're going to drive him backwards. And to me, Frazier's the guy that really sets this up. Now, the play only picks up about 2.5, 3 yards, but Frazier does a good job with the right guard being able to really push this defensive lineman back. And the interesting thing with the Steelers is, as an offensive line, they still have some struggles. I think they can still continue to get better and better. Obviously, Isaac Seumalo's out, and he's not playing at the moment. Fautanu is also hurt, so he's going to miss a portion of this season. Broderick Jones has had some struggles. He hasn't been able to overtake that job, but he's still a young tackle. He can still bounce back, as we've seen guys like Andrew Thomas do, and going into like the 3rd and 4th year. But what I'm seeing from Zach Frazier is impressive, and this play right here is one of my favorite plays from Frazier, right? Because you see the physicality, you see him finishing a block. You know, sometimes these guys only push out a defensive tackle, maybe 2 yards. If they seal it out, they let the running back go underneath it. But Frazier on this one pushes his defensive tackle back maybe like 7, 8 yards. Absolutely love it. Again, it's that wrestling background, right? When he has to make contact with guys, he's able to get his hand placement perfect. Then you see those feet moving. And you see him driving a 330-pound defensive tackle. I mean, this is not an easy thing to do right here against the Chargers defensive tackle. But you see that right there. I mean, from the time he makes contact, look at how many yards he pushes this guy. It's like 6 yards to the left, 6 yards deep right on top of that. Just a really nice, powerful rep by Frazier. But you guys, check this next play out. Frazier's going to do a really good job reach blocking, and you're going to see the left guard's going to end up double teaming as well, which leads to Frazier kind of torquing this guy and tossing him and pancaking him. Just a really good job, but initially, the fact that the center here is able to reach this nose tackle is really impressive. Right out of his stance. I mean, look at this. He snaps the football. He takes a really nice angle. And you see him get right in front of this defensive lineman. To me, the guard here should have potentially climbed directly up to this linebacker. Because you got the 2 guys here taking these 2 guys on. And it is a light box, but I would assume these 2 guys would take those 2 guys there. But regardless of that, it's still a 6-yard gain, so it's a good job. But again, Frazier does a really nice job being able to hook off the nose tackle at the point of attack. You're going to see him do the same exact thing on this one. This one's going to end up popping for 7 yards. Just a really good job by the center to be able to get in front of the nose, seal him off, which allows the running back to have a cutback option. To me, once again, Frazier has really good footwork, very good technique, very quick out of his stance as well, and all of that kind of comes together on the different type of runs. You know, zone run, power run. The guy does a really good job being able to utilize good technique and good footwork, and he's able to cut guys off. I mean, this is perfect. Does not get better than this to be able to make a backside cutback lane. The right guard, right tackle do a pretty good job on this guy as well. Right guard's going to end up reaching in front of him. Right tackle double teams up to the 2nd level. Just look at that gap between those 3 guys right there. All right, that's such a nice job by the 3 offensive linemen there. And of course, the running back hits it for 7 yards. When it comes to reach blocking, one of the things that I really like with Frazier is even if he's not able to reach a guy right away at the point of attack, he does a good job fighting it. Right, so one of the things that ends up happening with offensive and defensive linemen is, you know, both guys are essentially fighting for the same gap. Right, it's not as simple as a guy gets in front of a defensive lineman and the defensive lineman isn't going to try to fight that. Right, he's not going to try to get over the top of that. And this is a good example of that. You're going to see that Frazier's going to end up taking this defensive lineman They're going to make contact. The defensive lineman is trying to stay in that A gap to the right of Frazier. You can tell because the defensive lineman is going to try to get back into that gap. And these guys are going to fight each other, right? They're trying to fight to gain leverage of that gap. And Frazier does a good job being able to get in front of the nose. And as he's fighting and he's getting in front of the nose, he also ends up flipping the hips. And at this point, the defensive lineman has lost. But these are the plays that Frazier does a really good job at. You know, it's not always as simple as getting out of your stance and just getting in front of a guy. Right, the last play we looked at that went for 7 yards, it was super simple, super easy. Right out of his stance, he got in front of this guy. But on this one here, he has to fight to gain that leverage. And he does a really, really good job on this one. Let's go ahead and get to the next snap. You got another one here. This one's going to be duo. You're going to get a double team at the point of attack, and Frazier's going to climb up to the linebacker. The running back hits it perfectly. You're going to pick up 10 yards on 2nd and 7. Just a really nice physical run by the offense. You got the power run concept, and to me, I love it, man. I absolutely love duo. It's one of my favorite run concepts right now in the NFL. You get the double team at the point of attack, and Frazier and 74, the left guard, read it perfectly up to the linebacker, and the running back cuts this perfectly towards the left as well. This is exactly how you want to do this. Let's go ahead and get to the next snap. You got duo one more time. Again, power football. Love it, man. The best part of football is just the physicality. And nothing's more physical than running duo. So you're going to get a double team once again. This time it's going to be on the 2-eye technique defensive tackle. And you're going to see Frazier's going to end up releasing, which on this one it makes sense because of the alignment of the linebacker. Frazier's going to 100% release, right? He's going to go from the 2-eye to the linebacker. And on this one here, you're going to pick up 5 yards. So it's a pretty good job once again. Let's go ahead and get to the next snap. You're going to get 3 yards on this one. Just another really, really nice run block by Frazier. You just see that physicality once again, man. This is absolutely impressive. And, you know, I watch a lot of tape, offensive line tape specifically. Generally speaking, NFL offensive linemen are not picking up and moving guys the way Frazier is. And look at this offensive lineman. He's up on one leg because of the fact that he's being moved off his spot so much. He's getting tossed. I mean, to me, you see the yard mark that the football's laying on right now, and you look at where this defensive lineman ends up. He's like 6-7 yards away by the time this block is ultimately finished. That's a really, really good job once again. Overall, really, really like what Zach Frazier has shown us over the first couple of weeks. Against the Chargers, I think he definitely had his best game of the season because you can see he's more comfortable. And even in pass pro, you're seeing that he's a lot more comfortable. Oftentimes, he's releasing the guards, right? Depending on the slide. So on this one, the slide towards the left. So Frazier's going to get out of his stance. Towards the left guard's going to actually release because the defensive lineman's going to go to the inside. Frazier picks it up. And it's just perfect, man. Look at that. Look at exactly how he makes contact with this guy. He's underneath it. And he just shuts it down. There's no movement here on this play as soon as he makes contact with this defensive lineman. To me, this is a really, really good job by Frazier. You really see that anchor ability that this guy has. He's oftentimes not moved off the spot. He's oftentimes tossing people, as you see on that one there. And he's just really, really solid when it comes to pass pro. Run blocking, he's very smart. He sees all the defensive line games. He's able to pass it off perfectly. And again, I think Zach Frazier is one of the best centers in the NFL. I know some people are going to say it's way too early to crown him that. I'm going to disagree with it. You know, I think Creed Humphrey is by far the best center in the NFL. Right after him, he gets a little questionable, and I think Zach Frazier's right about there. Now, it'll take him about 1 or 2 years, but I do think Frazier will end up being just as good as Creed Humphrey, right? Or at least he'll be in that tier of centers, right? Because Creed Humphrey right now is in his own tier. And I think Frazier will end up being the next guy in that same tier. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, consider subscribing. We are definitely covering the Steelers on this channel. Thumbs up, subscribe, and I will see you guys next time with another video.